Let's talk today about your thyroid. January is Thyroid Awareness Month, and thyroid is always associated with our weight, right? In January is a time of year that we want to lose weight, and a lot of women, especially over 35 or 40, struggle with their weight. And they say, is it my thyroid or not? Now, some of you watching this, you're already on medication. I understand that. We'll address some of that. And I'm going to give a couple tips throughout the month, but this video is kind of an overview on the thyroid to help you understand it. Okay. Let's start off with helping you understand the thyroid gland is here, okay? Unless, now I'm going to say this definitive statement, unless someone like punched you in the throat or you were in an accident, you damage the thyroid gland, right? It's usually, and that's very rare, right? And I'm sure that's not the case with you. It's very, very odd for there to be something wrong with the thyroid. And we're always like, oh, there's something wrong. I did a test. My doctor said I'm off. So I'm going to get into it a little bit with you, and I think you're going to find it surprising because I'm going to say this. Thyroid is not responsible. A low thyroid is not responsible for your weight gain. It's the result of it. I don't think too many other people are saying that. But my specialty as a natural hormone balancing specialist for 25 years is studying hormones specifically relating to blood sugar and the sex hormones and how that affects your weight. Okay? Now, that's no insult to endocrinologists, but they don't care exactly how big your waist is, right? They just want to get your numbers good, blood sugar good, thyroid numbers good, you're good. You're on medicine, you're not, see you later, right? That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for to get into the nuances, to get to the root cause, and to make sure you're happy with your body. That's what I'm here for, okay? But I do it all scientifically. A lot of it's empirical evidence. And the one thing I've seen, and we're going to get into this, over the years of clients coming in, is no one is losing weight on thyroid medication. So let's think about that. Wait a minute. If thyroid was the key to your weight, that means everybody that's overweight should have a thyroid problem, right? And then everybody with a thyroid problem should be overweight. And both of those statements we know are not true. Statistically, they're not true. Doctors won't even say that's true. So how is it thyroid, your weight? No, there's other factors going on and it affects the thyroid. And that's what I want to get into today. What's going on? And then what happens when you get on medication? That's like a whole nother issue because thyroid medication perpetuates your inability to lose weight. So if you're watching this video, you're probably over 35, struggling with your weight, or in a new year, you're probably trying to figure out, what can I do? Well, at Balance, we take the guesswork out of women's weight loss and wellness, and thyroid is a big part of that. You're busy. You've got kids. You've got jobs. You don't have time to analyze your thyroid and figure out why you can't lose weight. And your doctor usually doesn't have those types of answers. They just want to, are you diseased? Are you not? Do you need medication? You don't. Now, functional doctors and holistic doctors, they're great, but they might not have the nuances and understanding all the little things that happen with thyroid hormones and sex hormones that have to do with what you look like and what you feel, your PMS and menopausal symptoms and what you see in the mirror and that muffin top. And that's where I'm here to say, I care what you look like, but I also care about science. So let's get into it. Okay. So let's look at this chart. Most women will admit that they're under stress, right? Who's not under stress? Stress causes the hormone cortisol to go up. Cortisol's not bad. We need it to buffer us from stress. But when that goes up all the time, because we're under too much stress, the body can't keep up with that demand. And if we don't have enough cortisol, we'll die. So the body takes a hormone called progesterone, converts it to cortisol, and that causes most women, even young girls, to be lower in progesterone than they are estrogen. That's called estrogen dominance. And that's even a young girl, premenopausal girl. And she'll have, a premenopausal, like a girl that's young, maybe in her teens, 20s, or 30s. And what will happen is she'll be estrogen dominant and she'll end up, she could gain some weight. She could have some issues with her mood and sleep, but she mostly has PMS. And it's not that bad. Then when she gets a little older and she gets into menopause, premenopause, postmenopause, all that, progesterone falls dramatically, and she's really dominant in estrogen, as you can see in this chart. Now, what's the problem? The problem here is that progesterone is your best friend. Progesterone supports the thyroid. Estrogen fights the thyroid. Progesterone helps your mood, it helps your sleep, it helps stabilize blood sugar, it helps your appetite, helps your cravings, it helps overgrowth of tissue so you don't get endometriosis, fibroids, female-related cancers. Progesterone's great. Estrogen, on the other hand, does the opposite and causes you to gain weight, hold on to fluid, be hungrier, have more cravings, have anxiety, which can turn into depression, mood swings, so hyper you can't sleep, and causes the overgrowth of tissue, which is related to most female conditions that are an actual issue that needs to be operated on sometimes, like heavy periods need ablations, or God forbid, breast cancer, endometriosis, fibroids, etc. So understanding that now, basically what we're saying is the imbalance between estrogen and progesterone that gets worse as a woman gets older. Young girl, little imbalance. Perimenopause, more imbalance. Postmenopause, really big imbalance. Doesn't mean that the estrogen's going up. It just means that progesterone is going down because we produce progesterone when we ovulate, right? So we don't think about, oh, I don't need progesterone anymore. I don't want to have kids anymore. Progesterone does all those wonderful things. Mood, weight, sleep at the very least, right? And progesterone also supports the thyroid. It's this imbalance that causes you to crave, put on weight, put on fluid. Nothing to do with the thyroid. Now, when you're imbalanced long with this situation, right? And you have to be a little genetically bent, right? A lot of women have this imbalance. Most women in America are estrogen dominant. Why does one get breast cancer? One has PMS. One has PMDD. One has PCOS. One has headaches. And then one has thyroid problems. So I'm going to admit, a little bit of your genetic bent. But if we can get rid of the imbalance, nobody has to have all those symptoms. We've seen those symptoms disappear at Be Balanced. Okay. And I've seen this empirically. I've observed the evidence for 25 years. Okay. So basically what we're saying is the thyroid is going to become affected by this imbalance if you're genetically a little bit bent. So what do I mean? Did someone punch you in the throat and your thyroid's not working? No. What happens is the thyroid, your thyroid's probably working fine, right? Nobody punched you in the neck. Nobody cut it out. You weren't in an accident. It produces T4 hormone and it converts to T3, but let's not get too complicated. Thyroid hormone, and it has to hit the receptor site, right? It's got to travel in the body and hit that receptor site. But when you're estrogen dominant, too much estrogen and you have high cortisol, right? You would never be estrogen dominant if you didn't have high cortisol and estrogen fight thyroid hormone. So the thyroid's like, hey, I'm producing hormone here. It's not my fault, right? Can't get through because this crazy lady is running around shopping, doing work, taking care of her kids. And she's producing so much cortisol, which is making her estrogen dominant. And I can't get through to hit the receptor site. So what happens? The thyroid, well, we got to up our game here. And it goes hyper. It starts to produce a ton of thyroid hormone. So if you happen to go to the doctor, maybe you're not sleeping, you're feeling weird, I don't know what's wrong, go to the doctor, he catches you in this stage. It's called hyperthyroid. I won't get into all that now, what they'll do for you at that point, but it's called hyperthyroid, okay? Most women don't catch it in this stage, but I guarantee you, a gland will always go hyper. It'll always try to fix, oh my goodness, what's wrong? Before it goes hypo and gives up. Always goes hyper, overproduces, before it goes hypo and gives up. But most women don't catch it in this stage. They catch it when the thyroid gland's like, I can't keep doing this. This is crazy. This woman's crazy. She's got so much cortisol. And so what happens is it can't hit the receptor site over here because the cortisol and the estrogen's blocking it and there's no progesterone around to assist it to get across. So what it does is it goes into a hypo state and your T3 and T4, your thyroid hormone goes low. And when it goes low, there's an alarm system in your body called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. But let's just call it TSH. And it's an alarm that says, oh my goodness, doctor, if you test this woman, I'm high because she's low in thyroid hormone. The doctor sees you and says, Mrs. Smith, oh my goodness, I know why you have no energy, you're gaining weight, all that. Because your TSH is high, your thyroid hormone's low. Let's fix that. Makes sense to you? I'm going to give you I'll just name one if Synthroid, levothyroxine is the generic. There's a couple other ones. There's some more natural thyroid medications, but I'm just going to give you that because you need it. You're like, oh, thank God. Now I know why I have low energy and I, couldn't lose weight. Thank goodness. Yeah, not the end of the story. You go home, you're on medication, you have a little more energy, and it does some things. And don't get me wrong, thyroid's important. You're not losing weight. Over time, you're probably going to gain weight. Now, I won't get into that all now. I give that information on another tip I did this month, but thyroid hormone is stimulatory, and so is thyroid medication. So over time, it's going to stimulate more cortisol and insulin, which is what got you there to begin with. So it's going to cause your blood sugar to go up and down. You're hungry, you're craving, you're putting on weight. and you're not losing the weight, which is the main reason that got you to the doctor to begin with. Do you have a little more energy? Yes. But it's not. So really all it's doing is it's giving the body more thyroid hormone, and some of it's getting around and hitting the receptor site, and it's doing part of the job, but you're not losing weight because your weight never had anything to do with thyroid. Your weight had to do with your estrogen and progesterone being imbalanced due to high stress. That imbalance blocked thyroid hormone. Now you got a thyroid problem. So what do we do at Be Balanced? We say, and I'm not going to get into it all here, we'll do this in a free consultation, but we gently raise progesterone. Progesterone helps thyroid hormone, and we balance it out with estrogen. We lower that cortisol, that damaging cortisol. We lower the insulin. We do that through diet, supplements. We'll explain all that, but it's synergistic. We lower all that, and all of a sudden, your thyroid itself, or the thyroid medication, if you're on medication at this point, starts to work more efficiently. And all of a sudden, everything gets through, hits the receptor site. Your TSH goes down. The doctor's like, I don't know what you're doing, but yeah, your TSH went down, so we can lower your medication or you can go off medication. That's the true story. Okay. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but empirically looking at evidence and seeing what happens with our clients, that's what's going on. Now, how can I be so sure of this? Besides the fact of seeing it on lab tests and things like that, the reason I can be so sure of what's going on is because we have probably under 20%, I'll give a decent round number, 20% of our clients coming into the Lancaster Rebalance Center, and I'm sure it's similar around the country with our 25 other centers. 25% of people coming into our center, 20% of our people are on thyroid medicine already. So what do? We explain this to them, but I'm not a doctor. We're never going to take you off medication. That's your doctor's job. He put you on, he can take you off, right? That's my theory. So I say, let's get you started on the Be Balanced program. Let's balance your hormones. Let's clean up your diet. And that can even help if you have autoimmune issues with your thyroid as well. Clean all that up. Do relaxation therapy. Let's get through the program. Let's get you to lose 15 to 20 pounds in a month. Let's do all that. And all of a sudden, you're going to have to go back to your doctor because you're going to say, I feel over-medicated here. And we'll say, go back to your doctor. He'll test you. And all of a sudden, your thyroid medicine's working better. Your TSH starts to come down. The doctor's like, wow, yeah, we do need to get you off of medication because we can't have you over-medicated. If you don't do that, you're going to stay in a stimulatory and you will slowly begin to plateau again, even on our program. We have a really good program. Our program, you lose 15 to 20 pounds in a month. And that's why all our franchisees and I direct them in saying, like, send them back to their doctor. So what happens is over time, medication goes down, goes down, goes down. Sometimes you even go off of it. We have a woman, her name was Maria Chase. She made a video, so I'm allowed to say her name, years ago. I just think of her in particular. She had no thyroid. All right. She had no thyroid. So of course she's going to need to be on medication probably the rest of her life. I get it, because she needs thyroid hormone because she literally has a damaged thyroid or no thyroid. In this case, she has no thyroid. Or if somebody has half their thyroid, they might need medication, right? Her medication went down 5 times. Her doctor was like, I don't know what those people at Be Balanced are doing, but this is crazy. Like, your medication is going down and down. She remains on a very, very tiny amount. Why is that important? Because, like I stated in one of my other videos, is that thyroid medication is stimulatory. It's like doing a little too much caffeine every day, a little too much sugar, cocaine. Like, it's stimulatory. It's like that. We don't want to do things like that. It's not good for our body. It stimulates blood sugar. It stimulates cortisol. It's not healthy. What'll happen long term? I did a little Googling. Anybody could. I thought, you know what? I bet you women after menopause, which already have blood sugar problems, they have weight problems, the ones that are on thyroid medication post-menopause, I bet you they have a higher chance of diabetes or insulin resistance. Yep, they do. So it's not a good thing to be on long term. It's going to stimulate. Now, again, if you have no thyroid, you had an accident, take it out, whatever, you're going to need to stay on some. But you want the least amount for the shortest amount possible with your doctor's help. I'm giving you extra information, and Be Balanced will be there. You can do a free consultation with us, and we're going to fill all this in for you. I'm just trying to give you an overview. Basically, that overview is your thyroid makes no logical sense that your thyroid's causing your weight gain, from what I have said here. It's also saying your other sex hormones and your insulin and cortisol are all involved in that process. Balance them all out, and your thyroid problem will go away. We'll get you balanced, you'll feel good, you'll look better, and really, life is too short to not love your body. Free consultations at BeBalanceCenters.com.